are listening to Joygasm, a video game and movie podcast. I'm Russ, Xbox Live Toaster 360. He is Steve, Xbox Live Stevavitch, and we're free to play in episode 108 today, February 8th, 2019. To get the most out of Joygasm, follow us on social media of choice and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and SoundCloud.com/JoygasmTV. And no matter which platform you use to enjoy the show, please drop us a subscription, thumbs up, or a review. It helps us build awareness, which we appreciate very much. And a big thank you to those who have done so already. We are going to be foregoing gaming and movie news this episode. And instead, we're going to just catch up with each other and jump right into our topic of the day, which is Apex Legends play impressions. I don't know about you, Steve, but I am feeling very much comatose after having that delightful manicotti that my wife made.
Wine was good too. You know, the wine was purchased with love and brought over here, just so you know.
Otherwise known as you bringing wine over.
Right.
Which was a nice touch. It was very nice of you to do that since you got fed very nicely with the manicotti, the garlic meal. Bread, the salad, the salad spinner goodness.
Yeah, little bacon bits.
It was really good. It was very tasty. Steve, I'm glad it's Friday. I really am.
You know, this week went by fast, Russ.
It actually kind of went by slowly for me because I
well,
was
that sucks.
a very busy man. I was very busy at work.
How is it going by slow if you're busy, Russ?
There is just a lot. There has been an absolute metric ton of stuff that has been on my plate this past week. We've been doing some on-location production shoots.
That's not what I asked, Russ.
What did you ask, Steve?
Typically, if you're busy, time goes by fast. And you said, yeah, we've been busy, but time's gone by slow. And I was like, well, why is that?
Well, I'm in the process of explaining stuff.
Well, I don't even know all the
You need
details.
to exercise some patience, okay?
We're on location and we're filming and I was saying hi to people. And
I didn't get that far. All I said was that I was on location for a production. I was going to go to the next part until you interrupted me.
Yeah, okay.
So on top of that, we've had about 3 other logistical types of possible productions going on. And so I've been in meeting after meeting after meeting. And just what? Why are you looking around? Which way? Yeah.
I thought the
you hallucinating again, Steve?
The sound curtain was sagging a bit.
I told you to put the LSD down.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Anyway, I'm just glad it's Friday just because, man, there's just when you're in that phase, that pre-production phase,
I know.
Things kind of drag on.
Yeah. Right. That pre-production phase.
Yeah.
I'm always in
something you're well versed in.
I'm always in that pre-production phase. Indeed. I'm never in the post-production phase.
No.
No.
So how you doing?
Well, Russ, you know, I'm good. You know, I'm good. The week went by fast for me. It was Monday and then it was Friday and here we are, you know, and I feel like I
shut my eyes on Monday and I woke him up. It was Friday.
You know, it was nice. It's the weekend. I can go back to sleep until noon.
Yeah, really.
Awesome. No, but been playing a lot of Resident Evil.
Yeah, I know. You need to put that down so you can finish up Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I just did that to annoy you. You know,
I figured so. Yeah.
I saw you playing it before too, and I'm like, yeah, he's not gonna know what to do. It's funny because you said, yeah, you gotta put down Resident Evil to start picking up Red Dead Redemption so you can beat it. We can talk about it. And I said, great. And as you said that, you said, hey, since you're over here, you want to play some Resident Evil?
Well, because you were already over here.
Whoa.
You're not going to play my game of RDR2 at my house. You have no saved games here.
Well, since you're here and I told you not to play, just go ahead and play it.
I told you not to play it at your house. So that way we can actually talk about a spoiler version of RDR2.
Oh, man.
You nincompoop.
That's funny.
How far are you in Resident Evil 2?
I'm pretty far along.
Yeah, I figured. Originally that was supposed to be like our thing. We were even talking on the show about how you're going to be here with me on the couch as you're playing the game.
Oh, yeah. And how often per week is that going to happen?
Hey, you know what? You're welcome over here every night.
Yeah, I'm just going to meander. Hey, I'm going to be up in your media room playing the game. You want to join me?
No, it's like...
Steve, don't start yet. I can't get up there.
You don't get
to hang out.
You work late anyway.
Twiddle my thumbs
you
till you're ready.
You wouldn't be starting till around the time I'd be available anyway.
Maybe I'll just play Bit Heroes for 2 hours while I wait for you.
Your guild or clan or whatever is like, man, he's really dedicated all of a sudden.
Hardcore. Man.
So are you like at the end now or what?
No, I'm not at the end. I have kind of somewhat got out of the police station. And there are some new enemies, and I met some people, and got some upgrades to my weapons. Mm-hmm. Found some safe combinations, and been learning how to dodge.
Dodging,
yes.
I kind of sort of remember that from the first one.
Well, in the first one, you didn't really have to do it. It was there if you wanted to, but since they gave you like any little shelf or couch or toilet cover available, there was always a pack of bullets. So you didn't really have to dodge. This one you have to dodge. So I'll play through, and if I know I'm going to die, I'll just keep on going and going and going until I die. And I think, okay, what mistakes did I make? How can I be better? Mm-hmm. And so then I'll go through the second time like, yeah, I know where that thing's coming from. I know where to dodge, and I'll save myself like 6 bullets, Russ.
Well, so how do you dodge?
Waste not. Well, I mean, basically, the zombies are going to come at you. And so you make them come one way, and you just like run around the other way. And so then they can go lunge for you. And then they just miss, and you just keep on running. I was about to say something. I'm not going to say it because you don't know. Mm-hmm. I'll hold that to myself. But with other enemies, you can do the same thing. Not every enemy. Uh-huh. Many enemies, though. I'm telling you, though, that this game has really brought back the survival horror.
Good.
It is spooky. I hope there's not going to be a bunch of more spin-offs from this game. Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 were very good games. After that, they kind of started to wane.
Were you a fan of Nemesis? Was that Resident Evil 3?
I think that was 3. Yeah, and I actually went back on YouTube and I looked up some videos on Resident Evil 3 because remember we were talking and I thought that they had done away with those pre-rendered backgrounds, and they hadn't yet. Yeah. They put more animation stuff in them, but they're still there. You're still in one little contained environment until you walk past the screen, and then it switches.
Now, I have heard that Resident Evil 4, quite a few people out there, is regarded as the best out of the Resident Evil games.
Out of the best?
That's what I've heard.
Maybe graphically up until this one, yeah.
By gameplay, you didn't think it was...
it was fine. I mean, you're kind of in that same sort of perspective, kind of over the shoulder perspective. And what's cool about 4 is that if you, at the right time, you can punch or kick the zombie away, which is just common sense. I mean, if you're just there if you have no knife and you're out of bullets, what are you going to do? I mean, you got to use something as a weapon. Might as well try and like beat on the thing a little bit. So it makes sense in 4 why they finally did it. And it doesn't make sense from 1 to 3 why they didn't do it. So that's cool. And the graphics are better and the environments are full like polygon. They're not pre-rendered. So in that sense, it is better. But I wouldn't say it's the best.
So which one do you think is
number 2?
Best? Oh, so number 2 is okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen every Resident Evil game that has come out, but Resident Evil 2 probably was my favorite out of all the ones that I saw. And I think I saw 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica. I saw a little bit of one where it looked like you were in like Africa or something. It was like outdoors and like in like some kind of third world country or something.
I think that's 4.
That's 4?
I think that's 4. 4 definitely looks like you're in a third world country.
Okay. So maybe I saw a little bit of 4 then.
I mean, the first one was great, but the graphics were pretty bad. And they had the full motion video of all these, whoever people. So that there was plenty of cringeworthy moments in it, but 2 definitely took a step up. 0, Code Veronica was okay. 0.
I thought Code Veronica was pretty good.
I mean, by Resident Evil standards, it wasn't as good. Wasn't by game standards altogether, it was. But if you take all the Resident Evils,
I don't think you're ever going to have a big problem with a bunch of survival horror clones like Resident Evil coming out. I think Resident Evil has really carved itself out a nice little niche.
right?
And I think that would have happened a long time ago if that was the case. I just don't. I'm sure there probably will be other types of survival horror, but it's not going to be a Resident Evil clone.
Well, yeah, I hope not, because after Resident Evil, it was like zombie game, zombie game, zombie game, zombie movie, zombie movie, zombie game, and it's just zombied out, Russ. My thoughts on zombie games and movies is kind of like.
Nicely done.
Yeah, thanks. It's funny.
So I think it is paramount that you tell the story to all of our listeners about how apparently you got married to a dead man.
Okay, so anyhow, I am engaged to a Canadian. And we're in the process of doing the whole immigration, this, that, and the other, bringing her over here. There's a whole family-wide investigation on her side and on my side, and all this bureaucracy BS. And so there's this huge application that you have to fill out. And and it's sectioned off like, okay, questions 1A through 6B, whatever, are your information, and then so on and so forth and so on and so forth. So at one point, it says your parents' information. And this bracket from one side of the page to the other side of the page, so many questions. Dad's side, mom's side. On mom's side, it says, have you ever been married before? And of course, she has. And the dude passed away. So, and it says, when did the marriage end? Of course, the date was there. What was the dude's name? There's the dude's name. Well, apparently, okay, and I'm trying to think positive about this. Because there's a way that, either I misinterpreted it, mom misinterpreted it, or the shiny tools in the government misinterpreted it, because the way, let me just say what happened. So I got a letter in the mail. So I filled out all my parents' information. I send this thing out. This was last August. It is now February. And so I get this letter in the mail saying, we got your app and we're going through it. And so we found a mistake that you got to address. And so here you go. And the letter says that I was married to this random dude. Now I forgot about the dude's name because I've sent the application in August. I don't know. I don't remember the guy. So I'm like, who? Did someone steal my identity?
Was I drunk?
Yeah, was I drunk?
What happened?
Man, I did wake up in someone's lawn in a pool of my own vomit in a bathrobe I didn't recognize. So, anyhow, why am I wearing this ring? I don't have any rings. Why are these people smiling at me too?
Why am I limping?
Yeah. It's a stagger. Anyhow, so I go back inside after getting this letter from the mail. And I go through the application, and it says, look at question 37A, I think. And sure enough, it says, have you been married before? And I said yes. So, but you is in...
Wait, you said yes to have you been married before?
Correct. But you was in in the parents section, as in mom, dad.
Gotcha.
So I didn't think that you meant me. I thought you meant mom. So yes, mom has been married before, because in these sections later on, it goes back to like your other information and to ask more stuff like your employment history and where you've lived and this, that, and the other. So I didn't think that you meant me. So, I mean, and then it went on to a different section after that. So apparently whoever's reading it, that the government thought that that question pertained to me, and that's what's holding this whole process up. I just want to get married, Russ. You know?
Well, and it's just bizarre how it's like, it's not even just like there was a mistake thinking that like you were married to another guy. It's the fact that they think that you got married to our mom's first husband who's deceased.
He was deceased before I was born. I had, you know, the guy passed away in 1977. I was born in 1981. So, I mean, these people obviously aren't looking through the applications on when I was born. And dates are important.
They're like, I'm some like paper pusher who's like, man, this guy's into necrophilia or something. This is gross.
Good grief. Yeah, I was a speck in someone else's eye, and somehow that speck, that little atom, that little zygote got married to some other person. So now I have to go to mom, who has to go to like the civic center or whatever, whoever holds all these records, to find this death certificate and their marriage certificate, and then mail those to me so that I can type a letter and then mail it to the government, and then have the government look through it and then go through the rest of this process.
Bless you for coming out in public. Oh man, that was so funny. Like the first time I heard that was from my wife, I'm like, what? Wait, what happened? I can't track this. Like how, what are we? Because at first she was just using the guy's name. And I'm like, what? Who, why does that name sound kind of familiar? What is the deal? And then I had to give you a call, and hearing you talk about it, I was just absolutely flabbergasted, but also just laughing. Cause I'm like, what the heck? This is like just, you can't make this stuff up. This is like just bizarre. Just the whole rigmarole. I mean, at least it could have been like some random Joe or John Doe out there, but no, it like comes full circle. And who knows if they're actually going to like successfully expunge that from your record.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're gonna be like up there on the altar with like a coffin with the dead body. Do you take this man who could have been your daddy to be your husband? What the heck is happening to this place?
It's 2019, I guess. Here we go.
It's very progressive of you.
Everybody needs love, Russ.
I don't know if this is a preacher marrying us or a mortician. And either one, I don't know. They both seem kind of creeped out.
Man.
Oh, well, okay. So pivoting off of that, by the time this podcast drops, it is going to be Steve's birthday. Happy birthday to you, my brother.
Thank you. And I must say that I have not aged. I am not 1 year older, Russ. Age is just a number you write on a piece of paper somewhere. I have not aged a year.
Wait till you get to my age.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You'll start to feel it. So you turned what?
Are you footseeing me under the table? Because my feet can't go anywhere like closer to my chair.
This is like for tradition's sake. Back when we were kids at the dinner table and we would kick each other constantly on the table. Old habits die hard.
I'm wearing shoes and you're not. So
that's very true.
Yeah.
What is it? When your birthday takes place, you will be 38?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Wow. A heartfelt happy early birthday at the time of this recording.
There you go.
And you're going to have to figure out what you want to do so I can go take you out to do it.
Yeah, on a Monday night. How wild and crazy can we get?
Town, Steve. What do you want to do? I'll take you to McDonald's.
Get you one of them Happy Meals. I know how much you like those. Someday those toys are going to be worth something. You just don't know it yet.
You just don't know it yet. You know there's got to be someone out there who has actually collected each and every Happy Meal toy, and it's still in the cellophanes somewhere.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I think there's got to be someone out there like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else going on with you?
I watched Daddy's Home.
Oh, how was that? That's with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's okay. It's not very funny. It's kind of like chuckle funny. A little bit predictable.
Okay.
A little bit painful at times.
Painful, like the jokes just weren't funny to you?
Yeah, like forced funny. That humor I love so much, kind of like making it awkward. Yeah, and it's just it's odd. It's just, I mean, they basically, Will Ferrell is the nice guy,
Right.
Wahlberg is obviously the more macho man of the two, and it really does slap around like, oh, the macho is definitely more attractive. The nice guy, finishes last, sort of thing. And I don't know.
That's kind of their shtick. Like they've made multiple movies like that where Mark Wahlberg is more of like the macho, masculine kind of guy. I think Mel Gibson plays his dad, right?
Well, that's then the second one.
Oh, they made two.
They made two.
Okay, so this is the first one you watched.
Yes.
Gotcha. You know what? I think I saw the first one and I didn't see the second one.
Yeah, we didn't see the second one.
Okay.
It was fine. But I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
Well, that's fair enough, Steve. I,
Yes.
on the other hand, I started playing more Titanfall 2.
Have you?
Titanfall 2 is a title that I have consistently, I'll pick up and play for a bit, and then I'll put it down and not play it for a while. I'll play some other games, and then I'll pick it up again, and I'll start playing it for a bit again. So the game came out in
2005.
No, I was going to say 2016, I think is when it came out. But definitely the sequel is better than the first one in that they have the single player campaign, which I'm always a big fan of. What was really cool, and I feel like I can actually talk about this because the game is now 3 years old. So, I mean, the likelihood of all the diehard fans who want to play the game have probably already played and beaten it. So I don't even know how far along I am in the game, but I'm at a point where I have found this little device off of another pilot who unfortunately met his early demise. And it's some sort of like contraption on your wrist that allows you to jump through time. And I thought that was really, really cool, just the way they had the whole thing set up. And the game design is approached where if you see like say for instance I'm in like this big kind of science facility military installation type deal, there may be certain places like certain doors that don't open, but what I can do is I can go back in time and the doors will be open because it's like the present that I'm in is like this kind of, you could tell that the city has been in ruin and everything else. There's been some sort of huge catastrophe that has occurred. But if I go back in time, then everything is all hunky-dory and they're kind of like all at the prime of like trying to be on the verge of some sort of discovery or whatever. But I really like that though. I liked how you had to think a bit outside the box as to like how to navigate your way through this building. And it works both ways. Like there were times when if I jumped back in time, there would be certain blockades that I just could not move past. So then I have to jump back to the present. But what was interesting was that every time I went back in time, I was like any kind of stuff I would do would mess up the future part.
Every time I went back in time to check the time, it was time to go back.
Yeah, I realize I'm probably saying that word quite a bit. But I thought it was really cool too because I found myself not like, for instance, like there was like security personnel that I would be interacting with when I would go back in time. I found myself not wanting to interfere with their space-time continuum. So I was actually taking more evasive maneuvers when I was going in the past. And of course there came certain points where I had to open fire and do those kind of things. But I thought that was a neat kind of response that I had.
I just had to kill some people and whatever. Anyway.
But overall, I mean, I thought it was a really novel approach to just how you would play through a level and introducing the idea of time travel into something that this is, again, I don't know if it's going to take more of a center stage role moving forward into the game. But that level, I was like, man, this is pretty sweet. So,
I had a feeling you were going to play Titanfall 2. I don't know how, but I had a feeling you would.
Really?
I did.
On that specific night?
No.
Just this week?
Yes.
Well, your intuition serves you well.
You know, I forgot to mention something, Russ. I was on Amazon the other night.
Buying stuff?
No. Just
adding items to your wish list, perhaps?
Yes.
I have become a big fan of wish lists.
I love wish lists. And
no one ever gives me anything on my wish list.
Final Fantasy VII is available to put on your wish list and or pre-purchase.
The remake?
Yes. Release date, they say, is December 29th. Per Amazon. Don't know how accurate that is or if it's going to change, but I thought, wow, Amazon. There you go. And that's right on time with Cyberpunk coming out.
Oh, really?
Same month. I think that's actually around the same date, too. If I'm not mistaken.
That is a calculated risk.
Yeah.
If that is indeed true. Not sure if I would be releasing my title at the same time another big AAA, highly anticipated title would be making its triumphant return.
Yeah. It might change. You never know. Square's been up in the air with it, but you never know. I just thought that was interesting.
Indeed. Now, we also have world holidays of the past week that have transpired. This past week, of course, was the Chinese Lunar New Year's Day, which occurred, actually, it's not a day, but a couple of days. It occurred on Tuesday, February 5th and Wednesday, February 6th. So that's always a fun time to do things. Of course, we got to play some Overwatch. Oh, I said it wrong. We got to play some Overwatch on Wednesday to have fun on Twitch, and they have their Chinese New Year skins in full swing.
Year of the...
That's right.
That was a
Whole lot of suey.
pig squeal.
Suey?
Right there. Yeah.
Indeed. And I remember asking you while we were playing, too, what was the animal from last year?
I think it was the rooster.
The rooster. Yeah, I think you're right. I think so. Anyway, I thought the Overwatch time was fun. We were introduced to a couple of new levels that we hadn't played before, and so we were kind of at a disadvantage. I think that overall, though, I think we probably won, it's like 60 to 70% of the time?
65% of the time.
65% of the time. I don't know. Take a little average. I don't know. But no, that was fun too. Anyway, back to world holidays. So there was one other one that I noticed that was the Nelson Anniversary Day in New Zealand. New Zealand, once again, on the roster for world holidays. This one happened on Monday the 28th. And based on my research, it says for Nelson region, the Monday closest to the 1st of February is commemorated each year as Nelson Anniversary Day. This celebrates the establishment of the settlement of Nelson on February 1st, 1842 by settlers from the New Zealand company ship Fifeshire.
Chinese New Year 2018 was the dog.
The dog?
The Bowser. Yes.
Interesting. Maybe the rooster was the year before?
Possibly.
Well, thank you for that, Steve.
Per Google, of course.
All right, Steve. It's skydiving time, and I'm the jump master. Let's get into our topic of the day. Oh, you guys see any weaponry around here? I need some wide body armor, ammo, anything.
You picked the wrong place to jump, Russ.
Great.
Target.
Did you land in the water again?
Yeah. I landed on a piece of dog poop. Makes good camouflage.
Indeed.
Might give away my location, though, if the enemy's around.
Our topic of the day is Apex Legends, which kind of just came out of nowhere earlier this week from EA Games and Respawn Entertainment. So we wanted to be able to talk to that and have our play impressions. Obviously, we haven't had that much time to be able to play through it, but Steve, what did you think of the game so far?
Well, Russ, you know, I have to go back a little bit to other battle royale games that I've dabbled in. And I haven't been that big of a fan of them, you know? So this one has been one of the better battle royale games that I have played. And I haven't played that many.
Right, yeah, I haven't played that many either.
And the reason I haven't played that many is because it's, for me, I want more action, not kind of seek and destroy sort of thing. And with this, at least you have 3 squad mates. You're not just by yourself whistling Dixie until you find one person on the planet that you have to then decide who's going to live and die. At least you have a small squad, so that's good. And this is definitely more stylized. I think the maps are brighter, beautiful, colorful. So that's cool. I did like the sounds of like the guns that you can get.
Yeah. And
you can get upgrades and stuff. So that's definitely cool. So as far as how it compares to other battle royale games that I have personally played, I do like this one better. But since it's still battle royale, it's not really my bag. I don't see myself spending a whole lot of time with it.
I agree. Well, it's fascinating to me how the whole battle royale genre has become super popular over the last, I would say, maybe 3 years, somewhere around there. Maybe not even 3 years, maybe like 2 years. But I mean, it started out with PUBG. And then Fortnite is what really just put it on the map. And then we've had other types of games like Apex,
Call of
Legends
Duty
come out. Yeah, exactly. The Call of Duty game that came out recently. You have various large developers who are trying to cash in on this battle royale mode. I can appreciate how there is a pressure that mounts. I think the longer you survive in a match of battle royale, then there's more and more pressure that starts to mount because
that's true.
You're starting to feel more like a survivor,
right? And
so when you do come across someone, then there is like a bigger sense of pressure,
right?
And more of more of a thrill, I guess you could say, as opposed to like if I was playing a game like Halo, for instance, like you're constantly seeing people, so you're engaging them on a pretty regular affair.
Yeah, I was I was feeling my heart palpitate a bit.
Yes.
More towards the end of that very first match. You know, when I got you that rare achievement. First time ever playing. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time Steve was playing, he didn't know what he was doing. He's following the other 2 players in his little squad, and they ended up winning the game.
Oh, man.
It was the funniest thing. You had like 20 squads that you start out with, and then they made it all the way to nothing. So, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not sold on the idea of, well, let me back up for just a minute.
Why don't you back up a bit, Russ?
I like the idea that you can skydive in. I like being able to be dropped into the map and be able to choose where you're going to land. Like you can kind of control where your characters are going, and you even have the option as the characters to either stay together as a group, or if you want to just go maverick and go your own way, you can. Although I don't recommend you doing that in a game like this. But then when you land, it's always kind of this rinse and repeat where you're having to go hunt for your weapons and your armor, your ammunition, your health packs, that sort of thing. So I suppose you could think of it as a bit of like a scavenger hunt-ish kind of thing to do. But it reminds me of the what's that? Is that movie called Mockingbird? Is that what it was?
Oh, yeah.
Or
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
No, well, it's not Mockingbird. That was one of the sequels or something. It's I'll look it up. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, look it up because it has Jennifer Lawrence in it.
Right, yes.
And I've watched one of them where obviously like this whole battle royale thing probably got its start after the series of movies was made, where it's the whole bunch of teenagers get dropped into this game of survival, and they have certain donors who give them stuff.
Hunger Games.
Thank you very much.
Starving, famished games. The hangry games.
That's good. So yeah, I mean, it reminded me quite a bit of that movie, and so. Yeah, like there are people who just absolutely love battle royale games, and that's great. If you like it, then more power to you. For me, I think I prefer more of the standard, deathmatch kind of scenarios, team deathmatch, that sort of thing. But that's just one man's opinion.
Yes. Yeah, later on when I kept on playing and you were doing whatever you were doing, we would fly down, and the entire squad scavenging, searching desperately for weapons. We can hear cannon fire and shotgun fire, pistol fire, assault rifle fire in the background, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die. Where's guns? And sure enough, one out of the three of us found a firearm, and the two of us were just like trying to beat other people to, bring a fist to a gunfight. Not the best idea. Oh, I'll take that.
One of the things that I was not used to yet as I was playing was apparently all of these characters have certain special abilities. And I never really, in my mind, thought to even activate them. Like you have those ultimates, I just go into first person shooter mode and I don't think about that sort of thing, which is weird because with the amount of Overwatch that we play, you would think that, I'm already conditioned to want to unleash an ultimate or whatever. But I think the problem though is that the fighting style is so different with a game like Overwatch is more of like, it's a first person social shooter kind of thing. Very much like Team Fortress 2. I think because you can perish and then respawn and you're playing again, you're able to just kind of get more into the groove of what those characters' abilities are, just because you have that much more time. And I think that's one of the things that I love and hate about battle royale games is that once you're dead, you're dead. You cannot go back into that particular game match. You have to literally leave the match and then restart the whole thing of picking your character and going through the loading screens and all that. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a bummer in a way because I want to be able to continue playing. And especially like when it comes to like, if someone gets a drop on me, I want to be able to try and best them the next time I'm able to spawn. But you can't really do that in a game like this because it's all centered around the idea of last man standing. So that's just, I don't know, another observation that I had. And I think one of the things that I struggle with personally, and again, I haven't played very much of this game, but I can see it as an identifier. There are 8 players, I believe it is, or 8 characters that you can choose from. And there isn't enough time for me to be able to really get to grips with any one of them before I die. And I'm not saying like, I drop to the ground and I die right away or anything like that. The few times I was trying it out, I was actually staying alive, I would say about halfway through. I'd say half the squads had perished before I met my demise. But the entire time, I think that it's almost a disservice because you don't want to just like fire off your weapons and be as loud as possible because you're going to give away your position, which you don't want to do in a game like Battle Royale. So then by the time you actually have players who you come in contact with, suddenly you're literally having to remember, okay, how do I heal myself? Where are my guns? Okay, I know I have these 2 weapons here. You know, I'm not even thinking about what kind of special abilities that I have because I think the characters too, in addition to the ultimate ability, I think they have like 2 other kind of, you know, special mutant-esque type of abilities that you got to just get used to leveraging on a normal basis. And I'm sure that like the more you play, then the more you'll be aware of what's at your disposal.
Well, I don't think they really showed you that in the demo. Well, not the demo, but the early on practice part of the game. They just kind of said, okay, no, here's how you throw a grenade. Here's how you pick up a gun. Here's how you switch your gun. This is how you fire. This is how you jump. This is how you crouch. This is how you slide. And this is how you do your ultimate. And it all just seemed pretty standard. And unless you watch somebody who's been playing it for, well, since it came out, then you actually see that there's more than some other stuff that you can do. I mean, there was somebody who had this kind of an emote execution sort of thing to me at the end.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. And then other times that other people were using abilities where they could see little footsteps of some team that was close, some other squad. And I maybe that was an ultimate, I don't know. But so it seems like there was other stuff you could do, but all I could do was run around and cap fools, you know?
I do think that if like you and I were to party up and play the game, I think it would probably be a bit more enjoyable for us just because in a game like this, it's so paramount that you stick together as a team. If you splinter off and you're doing your own thing, you really are running the gamut of survivability just because just most of the other squads will be sticking together because you have a higher rate of survival with that. But that was something that I noticed that with you and with me, we were constantly having to just frantically keep up with our group as opposed to being able to just explore, do what we want to do, you know, be able to coordinate verbally speaking over the headsets. So yeah, I'd be curious to see how that goes. My question though is what is the longevity of this game?
Well, actually, I think it's going to be long because it's free. And I think maybe Call of Duty put some bad tastes in people's mouth because they spend full $60 on it, and people like you spend more than $60 on it, and all you got was one big battle royale, and good luck with that.
Yeah, there were 3 game modes to it, but it just didn't hook me the way other games do.
So not only is this free, and you have a variety of folks to choose from, and the levels are good looking, but it would. If they were to drop some other content, which they most likely will, then people would be more apt to spend and play because they didn't. I mean, just like with the mobile games that are free to play, if you want to upgrade your character, yeah, okay, you might drop a few bucks here and there, and then a few bucks later on, and then a few bucks, and pretty soon that's making the game makers money.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to be adding tons of characters to this, just like how Blizzard did with Overwatch.
Right, and it makes the most sense too.
Yeah.
I mean, with a big battle royale game where there's no story, it's just here you go, have some fun. I mean, I would have expected the game to cost something from the get-go, but since it's free, I would assume a bunch of people would pick it up and play it for quite a while.
I am surprised though that there really wasn't any kind of lead up to this game. It just kind of fell in our laps. At least I was not aware of any kind of development with it. Obviously, Respawn's working on stuff on an ongoing basis with EA, but in terms of marketing, I was surprised as to their approach to this because it was all of a sudden just there and there was like just ads everywhere for it and people were wanting to check it out because they had heard, oh, well, I mean, places like IGN are definitely giving it a lot of spotlight room, and so we should check it out. Hey, it's free to play, so there's no risk in terms of purchase power or anything like that. And so, yeah, definitely different methodology with that. I don't know. I'm still kind of processing that through. Another observation I had is that I feel like the art direction in the game is a bit generic. And I was talking to someone from the games industry who is actually friends with the art director, not of Apex Legends, but the art director who used to be at Respawn Entertainment. And he was the one who was the art director for the Titanfall series. And what ended up happening was that he apparently left Respawn and went back to Infinity Ward to do art direction for an upcoming Call of Duty title. And so, which is interesting because when you look at the characters of this particular game, I mean, they don't look awful or anything, but they do look pretty generic in my opinion. They don't have the appeal that I have seen in other titles. I mean, at least in Overwatch, like I remember when I first started playing Overwatch, I didn't feel like these characters look like they would live in the same world together, but on their own, like every character by themselves was actually a really neat, well thought out, creative looking character. And so obviously this is a first person shooter, so you're not going to see as much of it, but we were thumbing through some of the other skins that they're kind of copying what Overwatch has done. Even with like the intro, I know you never saw the intro to Apex Legend, but they have that same kind of 2.5D anime cartoon kind of thing. And then, of course, with the characters that they have available right now, I was just kind of looking at them like, yeah, they're kind of forgettable, honestly.
Yeah. And that, in my mind, is a bit forgivable. Yeah. Because I think if I spent $60 in the game and they gave me generic characters, I would not be a happy camper. Even if I spent like $40 on the game, I still wouldn't be a happy camper. Maybe it would be forgivable if it was $20, but definitely if it's free, you give me some generic characters, cool. Whatever,
Yeah,
I mean,
so you're not bothered by that.
Yeah, not too much. I wish the characters did look better. I'm not attached to anybody really. They don't really look cool at all. But the game is free, and if you're Battle Royale and you're hardly looking at anybody anyway. It's literally something to satisfy like 3 seconds of you choosing your character, and then you're not going to look at anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you're going to download it on your system?
No.
Well, there you have it. That wraps up this episode of Joygasm. Make sure you tune in next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to check out patreon.com/Joygasm and consider becoming a monthly contributor. You'll get exclusive perks and early access to the show. Not to mention, it really helps us continue doing what we love to do. Also, you can follow us on social media and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud.com/Joygasm TV. Last but of course not least, search Joygasm TV on Twitch to see us stream our gaming adventures live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. We will see all of you next week.
Bye.